With the Queen's death, questions about Canada's close ties to the monarchy have risen. Many have said that it's time for true independence for a number of reasons, but it might be easier said than done.
Eventually, Canada will have to deal with this. We'll have to open the Constitution, and it's not as difficult as some say.
The deep-rooted history of the monarch in Canada may now seem to some like simple tradition involving ceremony and the Governor-General. That position, though, is key. Who rules the country? The Queen, now King, or can someone else oversee Parliament?
That is a process that started 70 years ago, and over that period, we now have a Governor-General that has virtually the same power as a parliamentary president anywhere else in the world.
The problem is, the grass is greener, but it's always greener on the other side of the septic tank, and it's a really difficult journey from here to having a Canadian head of state. It's a major change to our Constitution.
Written into the very fabric of the Constitution, that executive powers and authority over Canada be continued and vested in the Queen.
I am pleased and proud to be with you today, not only to celebrate the patriation of the Constitution, but to rejoice in Canada.
With the Queen's visit in 1982, changes to the Constitution only reaffirmed the monarch as head of this country. A unanimous agreement involving the Senate, the House, and all of the provinces would be required to remove the crown. With that, there are many other questions likely to arise.
Once Quebec starts talking about them, Alberta would like to talk about some of their own. BC would like to talk about some of their own. Sure, we could find some of our own in Ontario. So in some ways, it would invite into the conversation a lot of things that we've effectively allowed to settle over time.
And yet, according to an Angus Reid poll in April, more than half of those surveys say Canada should replace the monarchy. 1/4 would keep this form of government in place, while almost the same number of people are unsure.
In Canada and the other realms outside of the UK, we recognize the Crown as our state, and that the powers of the monarch are purely symbolic, and whatever powers are left, they're ineffectual.
So you can see the arguments on both sides, but it's a very, very difficult process to get there. What are the benefits of doing it, in some sense? Well, those are unclear to me. What in our system of government isn't working right now?
Renewed calls for a republic have grown louder in countries like Australia, where the current Prime Minister is actually in favor of the idea, and a member of Parliament has been tasked with looking at options. Australia did in fact have a referendum in 1999 looking at replacing its current Governor-General, but that was defeated. For City News, I'm Mark McAllister.